Mistfall Hunters, a game that is just as likely to make you jump for joy as it is for you to put a hole through your monitor. I have no idea why my brain dumps gallons of serotonin every time I play an extraction shooter game, but this is Mistfall Hunters. It's got pizzazz, it's got the funky flow. Mistfall Hunters is not an extraction shooter. It is a PvP VE extraction slasher. You heard that right, a game that has all of the extraction and none of the shooter. This game is as if Arc Raiders had an affair with Dark Souls and then made Skyrim raise the poor kid. But the classes in this game are fun, and every single one of them has a different playstyle. There is something out there for everyone, and there is plenty of room for skill expression, and landing your hits, honestly, feels genuinely amazing. Are the classes balanced? Fuck no. Currently in the game, there are a total of 6 classes, and I am going to be giving you my expertly uninformed opinion about these classes. So let's just get into it. The first class that I'm going to be covering is the Mercenary. The Merc has mainly 2 playstyles, each correlating with each of his weapons, one being a classic sword and shield, and the other being a giant hammer that hits harder than the dementia hit Joe Biden, or the files hit Trump, because we at Mr. 188 Industries are politically neutral. Now, judging by how I describe their weapons, can you guess which one is the problem? If you said hammer, you are absolutely incorrect. You stupid bitch. The hammer playstyle plays like a hammer, which means that it trades speed for massive damage and massive armor. I swear, they have an armor system that is subsidized by the United States military themselves. With a charged dash attack that can't be interrupted when fully upgraded, they will fearlessly run you down and give you a bonking that you will never forget. Did I mention that they have an ability that basically turns your own super armor against you that is exclusive to their class and their class alone? Yeah, so that's not absolutely terrifying whatsoever. They are able to turn what is supposed to be an advantage, a safe opportunity for yourself, into a detriment and the biggest mistake you'll make of your life. How it works is if you and them clash with 2 super armor moves, their super armor overpowers your super armor and actually just leaves you stunned, leaving you open for the most devastating and destructive pimp hand that you've ever experienced in your entire life. This playstyle absolutely shines in trios mode, because while dedicating all of your focus to not getting absolutely cooked by the slippery Sorcerer, a humble hammer role-playing as a 2006 Toyota Corolla comes out of the woodworks to remind you to take your vitamins. Couple that with the fact that the hammer actually melts bosses in the PvE part of things, and you have a solid B tier. But nope, that is only half of it. Just like Bill Cosby, this class has a dark side. 2 words: infinite parries. I have no idea what the developers were smoking when they added, yeah, give him a broken block in the game, buy a long shot, and give him armor after, make it infinite, and make it so there's no fucking counterplay to it. Well, if you ask a Merc player, they will say to just, time the block or bait out the block, which would be fair if it wasn't for the fact that you can't bait out infinity. The funniest thing is when you're playing in solos, you can instantly tell if they are a parry Merc because they will approach you doing nothing. No strategic planning. No. Just running at you because they know that there is nothing you can do that will hurt them. It's gotten so bad that if I am in a match and I see one of these guys in the match fighting someone else, I instantly team up against them out of pure spite. These guys are absolutely commanding S tier in solos and a solid B pick for trios. I bet a lot of you guys are waiting for this one. The next hunter on our list is the Sorcerer, and he is completely, undisputably, I don't care what you have to say, you're wrong if you disagree with me on this, he is broken. He is absolutely playing a completely different game. Sorcerers are playing chess, while we are stuck only being able to play checkers. Sorcerer is the absolute undisputed champion of trios. I don't even need to justify why he is S+ in trios, but I am going to anyway. And he is also a disgusting powerhouse in solos. Genuinely the most go-to pick hunter for the simple fact that he is ranged. But not only is he ranged, he's ranged and every single one of his attacks is both unblockable and AoE. What the fuck? If you play Sorcerer in trios, I actually genuinely hate you. The developers straight up, and this is just being completely bluntly honest, overtuned the absolute hell out of this abomination. Every sorcerer on this list that I am talking about uses the Stardust Sorcerer, and there is a reason for that. Yes, okay, I grant to you, the elemental one is a little bit lackluster, but it is unforgivable compared to the Stardust Sorcerer. The ability in which he can pull everybody in on one spot, and that radius is the size of fucking Texas. Comboed with the immediate follow-up of placing another disc the size of Texas that does damage over time and also slows you the down. Get out of the AoE if you're complaining about it so much. No! So they are absolutely not suffering in the DPS department. But let's look at their survivability, shall we? They are a ranged character with the best, undisputed, the best dodge in the game. They have a wall that can also be used offensively and defensively, for instance, blocking off your escapes or preventing you from pursuing them. Did I mention they have an exclusive ability that is only available to their class that doubles their movement speed? Yeah, I think they got the survivability thing down pat. I swear, there's gotta be like one dev in the back that is like refusing to let this class be balanced because they can't stand the thought of not being able to rob themselves of an undeserved victory by LARPing as Gandalf the Wise versus Toddler with butter knife. So how do you balance such an ungodly abomination? Well, for one, the super armor while casting needs to have a downside. Other than the Hammer Merc, no other class has any way to counter this. If you attack them, their armor drops and you end up doing reduced damage while they are free to hit you uninterrupted with a fully charged spell. That trade is just never going to be worth it. So what do I propose? I think that when you hit the super armor, it should slightly pause or slightly reduce their dodge counter gauge. That way, it balances two birds with one stone. They get to keep their overpowered dodge and their overpowered cast, but it allows good melee players to actually gain ground and punish super armor abuse. Also, their health needs to be reduced by like 7 or 13% because there is no reason why a ranged character should be both tanky and literally the second or arguably the first fastest character in the game. Speed, health, and damage. This class, despite being nerfed a total of 3 times, they are still at S+ tier. Like they're in a category of their own. They're up top of the board, and sorry to say, guys, it doesn't seem like they're coming down anytime soon. If you play this character, you suck. The next class brings me great joy to cover, and it is the Black Arrow. And holy hell, were you guys in need of a big nerf. If you would have asked me a month ago what the most turbo virgin class of this game was, I would have, in under a second, have told you that it was the Black Arrow. Now, just like Minilad, they are wishing to go back to a time before the messages were sent. While other classes required at least some skill to really lean into their brokenness, the Black Arrow was handing out RPGs to infants, requiring no skill, no practice, and no type of sort of understanding about the class whatsoever to absolutely dominate. With the addition of the previous patch notes, this is a good example as to how you handle a broken character. Because yes, everyone, with the exception of one class, was stronger during the beta, but Black Arrow was oppressive. You could not run from a Black Arrow. You could not approach a Black Arrow. All you could do is sit there and try to lube yourself up as quickly as possible before the... If you can hit your shots, don't get me wrong, this class is still absolutely amazing, but it is nowhere near the noob Zuka that it once was. See, playing Black Arrow is different. Black Arrow thrives in applying debuffs and controlling your opponent's position while also being mindful of your own, and it's a tough balancing act in a lot of cases. And in trios, getting off that early damage while also being able to assist your team during the fights is incredibly useful. And with everything in their kit, I would honestly say that they are commanding maybe C+ tier, although if you want to argue B, I won't actually push back much on that. This next class, I am prepared for everybody to disagree with me on this one, because this class is incredibly polarizing. But the Shadow Strix, the rogue, otherwise known as the asshole of your match or the dickhead of your team. They are actually pretty balanced. They have an absolute tough, brain-dead AoE bird attack, but other than that, they're pretty okay. The stealth in this game is really strong because all you get is a really crappy heartbeat sound, and it doesn't change whether it's above or below. It is strictly distance based. Can they absolutely melt beyond belief? Yes, if they get the jump on you. Other than their one-hit combo that they will try to hit the entire fight, they don't play any differently, to be honest. And if you learn how to dodge their attacks, well, you should be fine. Overall, pretty balanced. If you play bad and they play bad, they will still have some slight edges in some scenarios, but they're not broken. And at high skill levels, there are opportunities to outplay. And I will 100% say their bird stun attack is incredibly good and probably their best move in their arsenal. But despite what people say, I don't think it's broken. Now, in trios, when combined with the Sorcerer, yeah, I can understand how it's 100% unavoidable and a little bit broken. But that's more of a fault on the Sorcerer than the actual Shadow Strix themselves. Are there things that need to be changed about the class? 100%. For instance, the invisibility activates, in my opinion, way too quickly. There is an ability that the Shadow Strix can do where he will charge up an attack, and he can do this pretty much infinitely, that allows him to be the fastest character in the game and run away from fights.
Of course, the Shadow Strix in full purple gear is the one running away.
And when they are cornered, because the invisibility is so bad in this game and you can't really tell where the person is and the indicators are pretty bad, he almost always is just able to, if he's losing the fight that he's in, just get away consequence free, which I don't think is very fun to play against. With everything just being said, though, they are an A tier. They're an A tier, and if you're mad about it or whatever, I don't care. They're an A tier. They're super solid picks for both trios, and they're an absolute powerhouse in solos. They have tools at their disposal that is unique. Overall, just a really fun character, but A tier is where they're at. Seer. Seer is confusing. A good Seer can absolutely butter your biscuit in a team fight, but the trade-off is that they don't really do a lot of damage. I know, crucify me. They are annoying for sure, and a lot of times they can reduce the pressure felt in a team fight for their teammates a huge amount, but they also heavily rely on the fact that their teammates can protect them. But they add a lot of value. They can heal, give armor, and use turrets make the enemy team pushing be very difficult. A dedicated support class that I can't bring myself to find any hate to this playstyle, at least in particular. The Tiny Hammer Seer is something completely different. They have one of the coolest movement abilities in the game, hands down. I am actively jealous of this. They can grab you with a wall and cast stuns and activate a super armor that is the walk you down 5,000 machine. They honestly don't have anything wrong about them, and the only people who are complaining about their super armor walk down, yes, it's powerful, but in all honesty, you just need to kind of sort of keep your distance until that timer is up, and then they're free game. Like, there's genuinely no problem with the Seer. They have a really cool concept, but because the meta right now is basically sorcerers who haven't gone outside in 3 months, that have the ability to kill you in literally less than 5 seconds, and it is unreactable and there's nothing you can do about it, there's just not a lot of places where he can use his utilities to be the support, where he can heal, where he can go give you armor, where he can go kind of sort of like play around his team. It's just not viable. Simply because of, I hate to say it, the sorcerers and the shadow strix that are paired up together. So it's with a heavy heart that I put him in E+ tier. Sorry, buddy. And finally, the class that needs no introduction whatsoever. The GOAT, the Wither Knight. And I am not saying that they are goated because they are good. In fact, they are garbage. In fact, they are so garbage that it's almost poetic. Like, no, really. They are so bad, they make the 2018 YouTube Rewind look like a performance from Mozart.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
But let's not be too hard on this class. It has some things that they're good at. For example, they look really cool, and they're the second best class when it comes to fighting NPCs. Yeah, so even in their highlight reel, they're outshone by another class. If you play Wither Knight, you are, no joke, playing for vibes. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this class, and I'm a Wither Knight main myself. The hits feel so satisfying for the class, and they have some of the coolest mechanics of any class, like a Spartan Kick stun lock combo. Being able to transform into a taxi that transports players directly off of a cliff or directly into your team for maximum damage. They have scorpions get over here and a counter that makes you feel like a Jedi. But for all this sauce, it's not enough. This class has many problems. For one, the Greatsword has an incredibly janky hitbox. This class would be so much better if instead of the majority of their attacks being diagonal, they were more horizontal, allowing for more CC and crowd control. Like, hey bro, back up, I have a Greatsword. Instead, I feel like I'm waving around an unattended fork that the developers found in their lunchroom. They are supposed to be this game's tank, but they absolutely suck in that regard. The Hammer Mercenary is the king tank by a mile, not even close. So in their own class specifications, there is a class that is just completely better than them. This class is fun, but there is a reason there has never been a top 3 on the leaderboards that's a Wither Knight, and they're rarely seen in the top 10. If you go into the Discord, there are channels that are dedicated to the different types of classes, and all of the Wither Knights there are chill as hell. The funniest thing is that every single one of them knows that their class sucks, while other Discord channels are like dedicating builds and trying to figure out classes and what makes their character the best. Wither Knights is, hey, I don't suck as much when I put these aspects on myself, and hey, I didn't die immediately when I tried this, or hey guys, I got a kill today. Go into any of the other classes' discords, and believe me, it is filled with people who are asking for nerfs, just go to the sorcerers, and toxic people, myself included, saying how brain dead classes are, but no one does that to the Wither Knights Discord. It is solely Wither Knight users. And that's their secret. That's why the Wither Knight is the best class by far, because they know that every other class's matchup is gonna be an uphill battle for us. And we relish in the challenge, and if you die to a Wither Knight as another class, there are no excuses other than the fact that you played terrible and the Wither Knight played out of his mind. With that being said, though, sadly, we are the Yamcha, or the Sorcerer, of Mistfall Hunters. And it breaks my heart to say this, but Wither Knight is the god of F tier. You will only play this class if you enjoy playing the game on the hardest difficulty. If you have any type of sort of opinions about my content or the tier list that you think is wrong or that I made a mistake, I didn't. You're just wrong and you made a mistake, but please do comment in the comment section. That way I can go laugh at you and laugh at the stupidity that you're willing to put online as your digital footprint. And if you liked it, then like the video. Okay, now bye.